Studio microphone. Have you ever stopped and just listened to a clock ticking, a song your grandma sang, or the weird screech your old toys used to make? What if one day, those sounds were just gone? Headphone. Meet Nia. She's not your typical kid. While the world watches videos and scrolls screens, Nia listens. And one rainy afternoon, while exploring her grandmother's attic, she finds something strange, a pair of glowing, silver headphones that play nothing but the sounds no one remembers anymore. Dashing away suddenly, a whoosh. She's swept away into a place you've never heard of before. Welcome to the forest of forgotten sounds, where old roars, giggles, hums, and tunes come to life. But now, a silent shadow is growing. And if Nia doesn't act fast, collision, every sound in the world might vanish forever. Hey there, welcome to the channel. Open Book Chapter 1, The Attic and the Headphones. It all started on a rainy Saturday. Nia's parents were busy downstairs watching a movie. Thunder rolled outside and lightning flashed. So she tiptoed up to her grandma's attic, a place full of trunks, teacups, and treasures from the past. Grandma wasn't home yet, so no one would know if Nia snuck up here. She walked carefully between boxes, hiding from the beams of sunlight that stabbed through cracks in the boarded-up windows. The dust motes danced like glitter in the sunbeams. And then underneath an old radio, she saw it, a mysterious box covered in faded velvet. On top, an inscription read, "To be heard, not seen." Nia lifted the lid and gasped. Inside sat a pair of silver headphones that glowed faintly. An urge to put them on suddenly overwhelmed her. So she plugged them in, and as soon as she snapped them over her ears, everything went black. Then, boom! It felt like her room exploded into 1,000 pieces. All around her, sound waves rippled and crashed like thunder until her bedroom walls shimmered back into view. Her headphones were gone and she was left blinking in the sudden silence. Had she imagined the whole thing? Was she going crazy? That's when she heard a voice. "Welcome, listener." At first, it seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. Then it pointed Nia toward the window, which had transformed into a shimmering portal swirling with rainbow colors. Evergreen Tree Chapter 2, Welcome to the Forest of Forgotten Sounds. Hesitantly, Nia reached out and stepped through the portal. She tumbled through a kaleidoscope of colors and sounds until landing softly on a bed of moss. Startled, she looked around and realized she was in a forest unlike any she had ever seen before. Sunbeams dripped between the leaves like golden syrup. The branches of nearby trees creaked open and shut like weathered wooden doors. And tiny mushrooms popped up with bass drum thumps. Most astonishing of all, she could hear every single leaf rustling and crunching underfoot as though the forest itself was a giant book being read aloud. Then from above, a wise-looking owl hooted, "Well, hello there, welcome to the forest of forgotten sounds." The owl wore round glasses made of tuning forks that magnified his big yellow eyes. "I am Echo, your guide through these whispering woods. Welcome, listener. You have been chosen." Chosen? Nia frowned. Chosen for what? Before Echo could explain, butterflies with wings like sheet music fluttered by, kicking up a whirlwind of falling notes that spiraled around Nia. And she realized that the very air shimmered with tiny echoes and half-heard melodies. When they landed on a moss-covered log, Echo began. "This forest is where all forgotten sounds live. When people lose something precious, whether a roaring dinosaur, the clack of their favorite typewriter, or even grandma's lullaby, those sounds find sanctuary here, safe from harm and loss. But recently, a terrible menace has crept into our woods. It is called the silence. And wherever it goes, it gobbles up all the forgotten sounds, turning vibrant places into quiet emptiness. His voice trembled as he continued. Only you, listener, can save the forest of forgotten sounds. You have golden ears and an open heart. Will you help us? Nia took a deep breath. Of course she would help. This magical forest needed her. But how? Echo led her to a clearing where a map shimmered into existence, pointing to 5 distant realms. Each was surrounded by musical notes and symbols. Those are your clues, listener. To stop the silence, you must seek out the 5 essence sounds. They are hidden in 5 magical realms, each guarding a powerful memory. Once you unlock those sounds, they will join together and give you the power to banish the encroaching darkness forever. But before Nia could ask any more questions, the forest floor rumbled and a huge shadow swept over her. Startled, she looked up to see a flock of black birds with hollow eyes flying overhead. Quick, hide, listener, squeaked Echo, flapping his wings frantically. If the birds see you, they will tell the silence you are here. Nia ducked behind a nearby mushroom as the birds flew overhead, their harsh cries echoing through the trees. When she peeked out, she saw that Echo had disappeared. And the map was gone, too. Nia was on her own. And if the birds had seen her, the whole forest could be plunged into darkness before she even had a chance to fight back. She had to find the essence sounds fast. But which realm should she visit first? She closed her eyes, listening to the forest. In the distance, she thought she heard a faint, mournful note. Taking that as her guide, she set off down a winding path. Magnifying glass tilted right. Chapter 3, The Quest for the 5 Essence Sounds. Her journey was long and fraught with peril. First, she had to cross a gurgling stream that tried to sweep her away. Then she climbed a steep hill that nearly sent her tumbling down its rocky side. But through it all, Nia pressed on, following the mournful note. Finally, she saw it in the distance, a majestic mountain range that pierced the clouds. Sunlight glinted off its snowy peak, making it sparkle like 1,000 diamonds. Could this be the place, she wondered. As she neared the mountain, she heard the faintest strains of a beautiful melody. Pushing through a curtain of sparkling waterfalls, she found herself in a valley filled with ghostly musicians. They played on instruments crafted from ice, snow, and glistening crystals. A harp made of icicles tinkled a haunting tune. A flute fashioned from a frozen waterfall wailed like the wind. And a drum carved from solid ice boomed out a steady beat. But they weren't playing together. Instead, each instrument performed alone, their music clashing and canceling each other out. Suddenly, a white rabbit wearing a top hat hopped out from behind a snowdrift. Welcome to Melody Mountain, home of the forgotten family song. Long ago, families used to gather here to sing and dance. But the silence has stolen their songs and trapped them inside these icy instruments. Only you can set the music free. Nia wanted to help, but she didn't know any fancy songs or dances. Just then, the rabbit noticed a faint blush on her cheeks and asked, "Why do you look sad, little one?" Nia explained that she had come to rescue the mountain's forgotten sounds, but she had nothing to play in return. "Oh dear," said the rabbit, "what are we to do?" Then Nia had an idea. She hummed a simple lullaby her grandma used to sing whenever Nia was feeling blue. As she sang, The mountains trembled and the icy instruments began to glow. The harp twinkled brighter, the flute warbled sweeter, and the drum boomed with renewed vigor. They were all responding to Nia's song. But as she neared the end of the lullaby, she faltered. She couldn't remember the last line. Just then, a gentle voice echoed through the valley. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Startled, Nia looked around, but no one was there. That was the last note of the lullaby, the voice said. Sing it, little one, and the song will be complete. With newfound confidence, Nia finished the tune and the instruments erupted in applause. Their music soared into the sky like fireworks, creating a brilliant cascade of sparkling notes. Unlocking the first essence sound. Melody, Nia skipped through the shimmering portals back to the forest of forgotten sounds. She was one step closer to defeating the silence. Up ahead, she could hear the deep rumble of a distant drum. And somewhere near, a mournful cry echoed through the trees. But right now, she needed to rest. With the sun dipping lower in the sky, Nia spotted a small cottage nestled between two moss-covered trees. Smoke curled invitingly from its chimney and a warm glow spilled out from its windows. Maybe she could find some food and maybe even make a new friend. Nia knocked timidly on the door and waited. A moment later, it swung open, revealing a cozy kitchen filled with bubbling potions and crackling fires. Behind a counter stood a friendly-looking troll with rosy cheeks and a booming laugh. Well, hello there, child. Come in, come in. You look weary from your travels. Nia stepped inside, grateful for the troll's kindness. Over mugs of hot chocolate, they talked about everything and nothing as the troll wove magical spells, conjuring delicious snacks from thin air. It's so nice to meet someone new, Nia said, smiling. I haven't had a visitor in ages. The troll's smile faded and she sighed. That's because the silence has stolen everyone's voices, including mine. Without sound, no one comes to visit anymore. Oh, how I long for music, laughter, and a good old-fashioned sing-along. Nia's heart went out to the lonely troll. Maybe she could cheer her up by singing a song. She stood up, took a deep breath, and began to sing the lullaby her grandma had taught her. Her voice echoed through the cottage, mingling with the crackle of the fire and the gurgle of the cauldron. The troll clapped her hands in delight. That's a wonderful song, child. Thank you for bringing music back to my ears. Now I feel as though I could sing for 1,000 years. Nia beamed at the troll, happy that she had brought some joy into her life. But she knew she couldn't stay long. She had 4 more realms to visit and the sun was sinking fast. Thank you for the song and the company, Nia, the troll said, handing her a small seashell. Here, take this with you. When you need a friend, simply hold it to your ear and close your eyes. I will sing you a song. Nia hugged the troll goodbye and raced back to the forest. As darkness fell, she stumbled upon a babbling brook, its waters sparkling like scattered jewels. But when she cupped her hands and drank deeply, the water tasted suspiciously metallic. Curious, she looked around and noticed that the playful fish had vanished. All that remained were gray rocks and murky water. Frowning, Nia approached a nearby tree and laid her ear against its bark. Are you the source of this sad sound? She whispered. A tiny voice replied, I used to be the happiest lake in the forest, filled with giggling fish and the laughter of children. but the silence has sucked all the joy out of me. Can you help me, please? Of course Nia would help. She sat down on a nearby stone and closed her eyes, trying to remember a time when she had laughed until her sides hurt. Suddenly, she remembered her dad tickling her while she was getting dressed for school. She burst into giggles, then splashed into the water. Remember, she cried, remember when you laughed so hard milk came out of your nose? The lake shimmered and the fish swam in circles, their scales flashing silver in the moonlight. You found my happy sound, the fish cried. Thank you. Suddenly, the lake overflowed with chuckles. Fish leaped from the water, showering Nia with drops of sparkling laughter. They were all so happy to have their joy back. Locking the second essence sound, laughter, Nia headed deeper into the forest. In the distance, she heard a strange ticking sound. As she followed the noise, she found herself in a cavern filled with gears, springs, and hundreds of clocks. All around her, time seemed to have stopped. A nearby clock ticked loudly, then fell silent. A grandfather clock shuddered to a halt. And an alarm stopped abruptly, leaving Nia in total darkness. What happened? She whispered, fear pricking at her. Time has frozen, a raspy voice croaked from above. Looking up, she saw a tiny mouse wearing goggles perched on a shelf high above her. I used to keep perfect time with the world, but the silence has drained me of my energy. Without my help, the world's clocks will never chime again. Nia wanted to help, but she had no idea how. Then she remembered her own heart beating steadily beneath her ribs. Gently, she placed a hand on the frozen clock. Listen, she whispered. Do you hear that? It's the rhythm of my heart. Remember that sound? Does it bring back any memories? At first, the clock remained stubbornly silent, but then its pendulum began to swing. Slowly, the hands clicked back into motion. One by one, the other clocks woke up, their chimes and tick-tocks blending in a sweet symphony. Nia unlocked the third essence sound, time's rhythm, and raced deeper into the forest of forgotten sounds. Up ahead, she could hear the faint whisper of voices. Eager to discover the next essence sound, Nia hurried along the path. Soon she came to a clearing bathed in moonlight where flowers swayed gently in the breeze. In the center stood a tall willow tree with long, drooping branches. Over here, a soft voice called. Come and talk to me. Nia stepped into the clearing and reached out to touch the nearest branch. But as soon as her fingertips brushed the bark, 1,000 words flooded her mind. Letters never read, secrets never shared, goodbyes never said. Then the willow tree rustled sadly. I am the keeper of words, but the silence has stolen all my whispers. Please help me. Touching another branch, Nia experienced a rush of emotions, love, longing, joy, and despair. Each word echoed in her chest like a tiny drum. These were the forgotten words of the forest, and they needed her help to be heard again. Closing her eyes, Nia pictured the willow tree as a mighty oak, strong and rooted in the earth. Taking a deep breath, she whispered, I remember you. Suddenly, the tree exploded in a shower of sparks, setting thousands of fireflies free. The clearing filled with light as the fireflies carried the forgotten words back to their owners, delivering final goodbyes, secret confessions, and overdue apologies. Nia smiled, having delivered the last of the forgotten words. She unlocked the fourth essence sound, words of love. All that remained was to find the fifth sound. But as she raced through the darkening forest, she heard a familiar voice calling her name. Cross Swords Chapter 4, The Battle Against Silence. When Nia arrived back at the meadow, she gasped. The flowers had wilted. The butterflies had vanished. Even the grass blades drooped listlessly. And worst of all, she couldn't hear a single bird song or rustling leaf. All around her, the forest had gone eerily quiet. Had the silence already claimed the forest? Summoning her courage, Nia stepped into the clearing. And that's when she saw him. The silence stood in